How's it going, everybody? GN here for Get Zone, Media Lodge, and Funker Tactical. Continuing on with our industry influencer interview series. This series could not possibly happen without this man right here, Instructor Zero. How's it going, man?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
So let's get right into it. For people who may not know who you are, who are you? Who is Instructor Zero?
He's a simple guy. We provide training programs, special training programs to different government agencies or special forces and special units of law enforcement all around the world. And just now we need to cover 15 countries in 8 months. It's
15 countries in 8 months.
Yeah, it's going to be hard.
Man, you travel all around the world, perhaps more than anybody, any instructor that I've ever known. Your brain must be constant information, process information. Do you consider yourself lucky to get to do that?
I consider myself lucky for many reasons. First of all, because I'm doing what I love. So, and this is, I think, it's a huge luck because, you know, even if it's a hard job, even when the job is so hard and you have some risk in your job, because for sure, and this is sometimes I find a mistake, a common mistake, because people think that training is something that is completely separate between to operate in a country, but this is not. You came with me, you know what I mean. I mean, when we are in South America, for example, as the guy that now is behind the camera and was with me in the hello.
Let's go turn over here.
Yeah, many times. He knows perfectly that there is a huge risk because there is no difference between when you support a unit, when you work on the field. When you work on the field with a unit and you are in a dangerous zone because maybe in that part of the country the cartels, they control that part of the country, you are the main target because you are the one that the government called to train their guys to do their job. So if they can switch off you, it's a double slap for the government, for the state, for the authorities, because they show them that you call these guys to do this job and we kill the guy. So we many times we are the main targets there. So this is the first point. Second point, I think that another common mistake is that people, they don't realize that every single environment is so different, and it's the environment that determines the tactics. So we can't import our tactics. We can't import. I can push. I need to adapt myself on the dynamics, on the lows, or on the parameters that I find on the environment.
Listen, we're gonna keep this authentic, keep rolling. My production guy was totally right. We shouldn't have started the interview there, but keeping things authentic and rolling.
As always.
I want to go back to the point that you made, that the environment dictate the tactics.
Dictate the tactics, yeah, for sure.
So you mean what works here doesn't work everywhere else?
Yes, or maybe you can have some points that are common points, but basically you need to respect the environment where you're operating. So if I move for a kind of environment that is different, I need to have the respect to learn, to study, to have the volunteer to learn how is the environment, which are the traditions, which is the mindset in that country. I can't arrive and try to push mine as the best. And another point is, that's an important point, especially when you work with units, when you work with men that they working every day in that kind of environment. This means that they have really more experience than you in that specific environment.
Right.
So you can teach them, you can share with them a lot of information because we provide programs that we adapt to that environment. But at the same time, we learn a lot from that environment. Yes,
this must be hard. It's easier to just say, do this, do this, do this, do this.
Yes.
You really care, I think.
Yeah,
you care.
You need, because it's completely silly if you're going to teach something that they can never apply in the base of their laws. Because if you're going to teach something that is illegal, for example, for a civilian, in the base of the laws in that country, what you are doing is just fancy. It's just something that is not practical for a real context. So what we need to do is to know which are their needs, and normally we adapt our training programs in the base of their needs, in the base of the laws of the countries. The main point is that people want every time to try to especially in a civilian market, they want to train like the tactical stuff and blah blah blah. But we need to remember that the most important part are the fundamentals.
Fundamentals.
Yeah, for sure.
Coming from Instructor Zero,
we work. I train myself. Another myth that many people have, that they think that I spend almost my day every day on the shooting range.
Right.
But this is a dream. My dream is to wake up in the morning, go in the gym, then go on shooting range, shoot. But this is only a dream. The real life is completely different.
Oh, I know.
You know this.
I've seen it. Like,
yeah, because
a lot of people think Instructor Zero spends all day, all night at the range training. This man is a hard worker. Oftentimes you aren't where you want to be because you have to serve others.
Yeah, even because you don't have time. When we are with the units, when we work, when we train, normally I can shoot some round just to show them a drill or a specific protocol, but that's it. I can't consider that a training. I mean, probably in 3 days or 4 days I'm going to shoot less than 100 rounds just to show them the action, and then I need to follow them. I need to. My job is another job. I need to control, I need to follow, I need to share information, but I can't train myself in the proper way. I must organize my training as I can. I mean, normally I divided my training in different kind of frames, but I work 90% on fundamentals.
So
every time.
Let's talk about fundamentals again. What is fundamentally a common mistake that you see as an instructor with these students?
We don't understand an important point. There are many concepts that we need to acquire before we start training the proper way. First of all, we need to use the logical application above everything. So everything should have a logical meaning and a practical application in real context. Otherwise, there is no sense. One of the most common mistake is that every time, especially in the civilian market, every action on a training should be something that tactical and should recreate real context. That is not, it's not true and it's not useful at all. Let's talk about boxer, for example. The boxer. The boxer. He jumps on the rope, but he knows perfectly that when he's on the fight, he doesn't have a rope. But he uses a rope to arrive in the perfect shape. Same process for the punch ball. In our training, we need to do the same. We can use some drills that they can recreate a real scenario, but we use a lot and tons of drill where we are going to improve a single frame. For example, trigger, grip, shift, muzzle sweep, or draws. That is the main important part. Second common mistake is that people want to work on the technology. They gave to the firearms too much importance. I mean, I always say them, don't build your firearm around your mistake. If you do a trigger mistake, don't work on the trigger.
One more time. Don't build your firearm around your mistakes or inadequacies. Yeah, that's that.
Yeah, I mean, so if you make a trigger mistake, don't work on the trigger. Work on training to resolve the problem.
Right.
But don't work on the trigger to put lighter, to reduce, because this is not something that is correct. So we need to take care about details, especially with the units. But as a civilian, you need to understand that all the firearms are just tools.
I think a lot of people get the misconception, because I think you're one of the most prolific drill makers. You have a lot of drills, and people, I think, get the wrong idea. Yeah. You're training fundamentals in these drills, correct?
Yeah. One point that is very important, people, they need to understand this. Doesn't matter how many rounds you shoot for a week. Doesn't matter how many times you hit the target. Doesn't matter if you make a grouping like that. Because the only point that is important is how you do it. Because if you hit the target 9 times on 10, if you make a good grouping, or this means only that you just close a good mechanical action. People think that at the range you can train the finger only. This is absolutely wrong. We need to train the brain
For the main part is the brain process. If I'm a police officer, if I am a civilian with that I carry a firearm for defense, if I'm a private security guard, whatever, 99% of the time I'm going to react. And we know that action is faster than reaction. So this means that we can decide when, we can decide where, and we can decide how. Someone else is going to do it for us. So what we can do only is to decide to arrive at that moment as more trained as we can, or not. You can be fast whatever you want on the range, but the target on the range normally is in the same floor, in the same plan. So in an artificial environment, we have angles everywhere. Yes, so this means that you need to be trained. When you start to have angles in the perception of the front sight is going to change a lot, and you need to know this. Second thing, when you are on the range, everything you do something that for you is a pleasure. You have fun, so you are relaxed. The target is clear. You have no collateral, and you know a lot of time I read some bullshit when they tell you, but the target doesn't reply. They don't.
Targets
reply.
don't shoot back. Paper targets don't shoot back.
This is the best bullshit you can say. No one in training has a target. Otherwise, it's not training; it's an action. 97, 98% of civilians they train during daylight on a shooting range, but 85% of crimes happen
at night
during the low light. And daylight and low light are two planets completely different.
I think with all you've said, what I get, if I'm going to be a student and I'm listening, is to think critically, right? To learn, to compartmentalize drills, to focus on your fundamental skills, but understand what happens on the range doesn't look like what happens on the real world, correct?
Yes,
all right.
And not only, even if we try to work very hard on the range, maybe I work in concealed carry, and someone come to and robber me.
Right.
But pay attention now. So in that moment, even if I carry the gun, and even if I think that I can react, in that moment I'm going to put on one side of the balance, on one plate of the balance, my money bag, my cash, my credit cards, the key of the car, and the other side, my life. This is why the brain process is important, because my brain should be trained to receive multiple information in a short period, in a frame of second, and it needs to be able to rationalize those informations and to produce an action.
And you have drills online, on the internet that demonstrate this.
Yes.
For people who know you I think they get this. Guys, if you don't know that much about Instructor Zero, I think my takeaway here is that he's a critical practitioner. He believes that the totality of conflict is a lot broader and unpredictable. So you should challenge yourself as much as you can in the range environment that you can control. Do I have that right? That's pretty close. Let's shift gears a little bit here, man. Let's talk about that.
American flag.
Look at this smile. Look at this smile. Like right away, he's got this big smile. Man, every time, like I see photos of you, you just seem happier in this country.
Yeah, this is my second home, man. I was born in Italy and I grew up in Africa, but really, for me, United States are my second home. This flag is a part of me as my flag, and has many different flags. Some countries, like the Philippines, for example. When a country gave to you a lot, as I received it from the United States, as I received it in different countries, you bring that sensation, that love inside your soul. And so this flag for me is like my flag, even if I'm not American citizen, not yet. But
not yet. Now I'm gonna get you in some trouble here. You love this country, you love being here. What's your favorite state in the United States to be in?
Oh, maybe it's too early to say because I'm still discovering this huge country. Because, but listen, everywhere I went, I like it. So I mean,
Come on.
I like Florida. There are different characteristics. You know, Miami is cool because it's cool.
It's cool. Yeah.
But Texas,
Right?
took a piece of my heart. And then Kansas, and then Indiana, or whatever. Now I did a lot of travel inside the United States, and I still it's great. But I want to finish to discover this country. I want to start.
I think
more.
maybe Alaska.
That's my dream.
Right?
Another dream that.
Okay.
I need to preserve my dreams. You know.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Little by
burn
little.
everything.
Little by little.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Instructor Zero. He loves his country. He's a critical instructor. He's a caring teacher. He follows up. Just a really great guy. So if I can give you a piece of advice, dig deeper. Get to know him. If you see him at these conventions, stop him. He's one of the most gracious people. I've seen this guy drop a hamburger because somebody wanted a photo and an autograph. Really gracious guy, really talented individual, sincere individual. You know, you see the tip of the iceberg online on these YouTube videos, but I hope you're the kind of person who relies more upon this kind of interaction, the face-to-face interaction, and he's more than happy to answer any of your questions. Guys, my name is GN for Get Zone, Media Lodge, and Funker Tactical. One more time, Instructor Zero. See you next time.